University, and the topic is Tennessee State University and the National Education Agenda. Dr. Johnson, let's give you, over the last segment that we have here, an opportunity to inform our audience in a real sense of what you consider to be important in reference to this national education agenda and the part that Tennessee State University is playing in terms of trying to make that a reality.
Okay. Thank you for that opportunity to share some statistics with you and also to show you how important this is to our nation at this point in time. Dr. Haney, you are aware that unemployment right now in the United States is roughly about 10%. Now that's extremely high. And so what that means is that we've got to increase the level of participation, not only in higher education, but ultimately to increase those employment rates in the country. Now, if you translate that into how universities and colleges can help, right now the Obama agenda is to increase the amount of jobs in high-tech areas by about 2.5 million jobs. That's what he's trying to create with the stimulus funds and with other measures of funding that he's put into place. And so he's committed, you know, when you talk about the funds commitment, he's talking about college access and completion funds that is funded at about $2.5 billion over 5 years. Now that's a lot of money.
Is that the money that will allow people who would maybe not have an opportunity to
Absolutely,
go access?
absolutely.
Speak to that.
And so this is going to cover a lot of people that might have stopped out of going to school because of family situations or because of affordability issues. So it's going to help improve access and affordability. These are key components. And when you stop and think about the students that we serve, one of the things that I hear all the time about why students can't continue to stay in school and complete their degrees is because of financial need. As a matter of fact, there was one of our students interviewed in the Tennessean that talked about being in school for 8 years because he's had to stop out to get a job to take care of the out-of-state fees. Well, the kind of funding that's going to be put in place now will help to ease that financial burden. Also, there's been an increase in Pell Grants. That is the grant from the federal government that then again will allow students to afford.
I don't think many people know that.
Well, that's probably true, but I think there's so many programs in place now that if you really want a college education, you can get one. Through the combination of grants, through the combination of loans, and if you're a good student while you're in high school, then that's one of the best ways to ensure affordability in college, because there are scholarships that could be available to those students who have really excelled in school. But let me just also mention that there's another program called Race to the Top. I alluded to that program in an earlier session. This again is a competitive program, so you'll find many states trying to compete for the race to the top. And so what this is designed to do is to enhance the standards, not only in K-12, but also in teacher preparation programs in the universities. And so we are trying to become a part of the Race to the Top proposal for the state of Tennessee at Tennessee State so that we can help to improve the quality of teacher education. And so we've got a proposal in that if it's approved, we'll have projects for improving K through 8th grade in terms of teacher education for all of the metropolitan areas in the state of Tennessee.
And so you'll be able to, through Tennessee State University's program, be able to touch many of the...
Not only Tennessee State, we're now partnering with other universities in our system as well.
And they will be able to increase the access and the affordability of...
well, that's mainly to improve teacher quality. And so teaching different skill sets, ensuring that the different pedagogies of teaching students within the K through 8th grade levels, there are certain techniques and skill sets that the teachers need to have in order to improve their instruction at those levels. So that's what we're putting in place.
And so by improving the teaching, you certainly would anticipate improving...
Absolutely. It's going to have a major impact upon the college readiness of those students once they come out of the pipeline, and then make our jobs a lot easier to connect to them. Also, there are some other developments in Tennessee. For example, the Lumina Foundation has put $1.2 million right in this state in a multi-year initiative to really attract adult students back to college, and also to revise higher education funding formulas. So that's one of the ways that we're going to help in terms of trying to realign the funding for the goals and objectives that that we want to meet.
And so, in a real sense, this is a far-reaching, almost unprecedented effort on the part of the federal government. As a matter of fact, you've already compared it to the Sputnik kind of thing.
Well,
back
I
in the
said this
1969.
is this. I wish it we had a national agenda like the Sputnik scenario for a longer period of time. But since this president has been in office, we've seen unprecedented amounts of funding coming into the education system. And so I do think that this is the right direction to take.
Now another element in reference to this, Dr. Johnson, has to do with the Tennessee lottery. I mean, how is that system working at Tennessee State University?
Well,
I mean,
you find that there can be some mixed results when you look at lottery. You have to be very careful about who contributes to the lottery purchases themselves. And I'm talking about what segment of our society. And normally those are going to be the segment that's going to have a lot of unmet need. And so the people that actually receive the funding, however, those that score very high in their high school curriculums and who test very well, don't necessarily come from that same population.
The lottery tickets.
That's exactly right. So you get some mismatches that way. So I've always advocated for having a little bit more need-based aid coming out of the lottery scholarships. You got to have both. You got to have some merit, but also you have to give some of the students that have unmet need an opportunity to compete for those funds as well.
You know, Dr. Johnson, we've got about 3 minutes, and why don't you take an opportunity perhaps to say something in reference to students this morning, to re-emphasize something that everybody probably tries to do every day, to re-emphasize the importance of education, them working hard and et cetera. You know, just coming from you as the president of Tennessee State University.
Every chance I get to talk to students and potential students of the university, I say over and over again that education is the single best investment that you can make towards your future. I mean, and it is the investment that pays off in terms of return on investment or any other business term you want, more than anything else that you can invest in, including your house or your car. Your education is something that will continue to provide benefits to you over your lifetime. And so I say any means necessary, through grants, through scholarships, through loans, through any measure that you can to make education affordable to you, you should take advantage of it.
And if a student is conscientious and he works hard and he has the good grades and everything, it really doesn't matter how much money he has.
That's exactly right. And that's the best way to ensure success is to be a good student while you're in school. And that will ensure that you'll have the opportunity to receive funding for your education.
Well, Dr. Johnson, anything else that you'd like to leave with our audience this morning? Because this is your show, and we want you to sort of end us the last minute or so that we have here.
Well, I just want to let you know that yes, we do have challenges, and the challenges is that the challenges are that we have seen some drop in appropriated support to the universities, and it's the time now where the communities themselves have to help. They have to assist each of the colleges and universities to really achieve the I would call it the margin of excellence, to ensure that we have education as the highest level of priority for our youth.
And so you feel good about the national agenda?
I feel good about the national agenda. I would love to see the state agenda improve somewhat as far as funding is concerned, but I think we also need the private sector to assist as well. And so jointly, I think we can achieve whatever we want in this country. So I'm very positive.
And so things are looking good for Tennessee State University.
Well, I think they are, and I'm just saying if we can get to and continue to get the kinds of financial support we need, then that's what our students need.
Very good, and of course, let me thank you, Dr. Johnson, for coming by and giving us that excellent information. As we said before, you came with us, to us, the first time that you came to Tennessee State University and sort of introduced yourself to us.
Thank you.
And I think over the time, that must have been about in 19...
It was, 2005. Yes.
And so that's almost 5 years ago,
Yes.
and it took you 5 years to get back around to us. And we know the reason for that is because you've been very, very busy
Yes.
doing a lot of additional things. But we certainly want to thank you for taking the time out today.
Thank you.
To come by and to share with not only myself, but our audience in terms of some of the things that are going, some of the very positive things that are happening at Tennessee State University and what this actually means as a national agenda. And of course, we'll be back with our audience next week, and we encourage you to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you and good morning.